He's every man's nightmare, every woman's fantasy. A terrifying beast with a noble and loving heart. Tonight on Evening, look behind the layers of makeup and discover the actor who brings Vincent to life on Beauty and the Beast. Then, for a hot date, pick your favorite calendar.
Hi everybody, welcome to Evening from J.K. Gill, right here in the Northgate Shopping Mall. I'm Brian Tracy.
And I'm Penny Legate. You know, Brian, for some actors, their face is their absolute fortune. We're talking about people like Robert Redford would be one, Mel Gibson is a real cutie pie.
Clint Eastwood.
That's a great example. Now, these actors are recognized no matter where they go, and they're even cast in movie roles because of their looks.
So it makes sense then, if an actor had to wear heavy makeup, then he loses one of his tools, that recognition factor that could make him a lot of money. But there's one exception to the rule. His name is Ron Perlman of the new hit television show Beauty and the Beast.
Take a good look at Ron Perlman's face. It's one of the few times you'll see what the star of CBS's highest-rated new show looks like. Most of the time, Ron looks like this.
That's her. I knew you were close by.
Ron stars in Beauty and the Beast, a series that has the distinction of having this season's oddest premise. It's a modern-day fable. Ron plays Vincent, a soft-spoken, well-read, highly refined beast who lives in a maze of tunnels beneath Manhattan. Linda Hamilton plays the Beauty, a New York public defender. Together, the two fight to make the topside city as civilized as the underground world. As the Beast, Ron spends 15 to 18 hours a day, 5 days a week, buried under a mound of makeup.
My normal makeup period is 4 hours. I have hair on my hands and claws, and I usually wear a glove. But on several occasions where my hands need to be featured, they have to make up my hands by laying hair individually on all the fingers, and that's another 2 hours. And that was my day yesterday. I was in the makeup chair at 2:30 a.m., and I went home at 10 o'clock at night.
And action.
The details of Ron's makeup are a secret that's darker than the world Vincent lives in. Ron refuses to be photographed while it's being applied, and once it's on, he treats his makeup artist's work like a bit of living sculpture.
Well, I can't really touch my face, so if I have an itch, I just have to, like, pray that it goes away, because if I do, I'm in danger of ruining this incredible work that she's done. And I have to be very careful when I eat because the piece that I wear covers my upper lip totally. So I have to open real wide and stick it in and then close it. I'm sort of like a Venus flytrap at this point.
The role of Vincent might have its trials, but when you consider Ron's other starring film roles, it's a breeze. His first film was 1981's Quest for Fire, where he played a prehistoric man, another Mondo makeup job, and Quest never had the luxury of a cozy soundstage.
So there were all these challenges, the least of which, or not the least of which, was these physical challenges that this director, who believed very much in cinema verite, thrust upon us, like having to do the whole film barefoot and walking on substances that were sometimes frozen because it was 29 degrees, and sometimes volcanic because that was a great location for him, and sometimes hot enough to fry an egg on because we did part of it in Kenya.
His next major film role was in the 1986 film The Name of the Rose with Sean Connery. The movie was with the same director who did Quest for Fire. Again, more makeup as Ron played a deformed, hunchbacked monk, and more discomfort. The film was shot over a 5-month period one winter in a leaky, unheated German castle.
But I wore shoes.
So what I was thinking in this next scene, we should, like, do it seriously, at least for one of the takes.
Ron's sense of humor goes back to his teenage years when he joined a comedy troupe to overcome being what he describes as a fat kid with a low self-image. Comedy led him to theater work in college and on to lively stints on stage in New York and Europe. Ron's happy with a career that has brought him satisfying roles and has kept his face out of the limelight.
I've never looked upon fame as anything. I've always recognized that as sort of a nuisance because it gets in the way of a really healthy personal life, and it gets in the way of privacy. So I have the very best of both worlds.
Ron shares his personal world with his wife and their 3.5-year-old daughter, Blake Amanda. The family lives in Los Angeles, but Ron still keeps an apartment in New York. Blake has seen her dad at work in the theater and on the set of Beauty and the Beast. Ron recalls one evening that showed how she's adjusted to having a father who's usually in makeup.
We had arrived in New York pretty late one night, and we were all real hungry, so we called for a pizza, and the guy who delivered the pizza came to the door, and as he opened the door in my apartment, there's this huge photograph of me in Quest for Fire. And the pizza guy is sort of going, I've seen that face somewhere before. And my daughter sort of looked at him studying this thing and said, oh, don't worry about that. That's only my dad in makeup.
As you might expect, Blake is a fan of her father's show. There is peril, there's beauty, and there's the Beast, who has the nobility to which the world above him seldom aspires.
Playing Vincent is threading the needle of that statement that I guess I want to make, and that is, don't judge by what the outward appearance is.
From this season's ratings, it seems that millions of viewers agree that Vincent's a beauty, which means that this is the last chance to see Ron Perlman's real face for a long time to come.
Now here's a guy who must love to act. If he's willing to put up with 15 to 18 hours of makeup a day...
That's incredible. And he said that if he has an itch, then he can't scratch it?
He just prays it goes away.
For 15 hours, a 15-hour itch? Can you imagine?
Oh, I could be in trouble.